All right, we're going to sit here and we're going to start off working on our study guide for the ecosystems test number 1, which is next week on Tuesday. We're going to look at question 1. We have a food web here. Now, in a food web, we know that a food web is overlapping food chains. So the food web Now, when you have overlapping food chains, different things kind of happen. So I have grass, I have grasshoppers, I have moss, and I have mushrooms that are all down in my ecosystem. I've got the sun. It's shining down on the grass. I've got the sun that's shining over here onto this tree. And I've got a little bit of moss over here on the tree, sun shining through there. I've got a mushroom over here right next to the tree. And he is home to some Smurfs. No, just kidding. He is decomposing some dead things down here. And then last, I have a cricket. Sorry, not a cricket, a grasshopper. Mr. Bullens, get that right. All right, there he is. Now, he's over here and he's munching on some grass. Now, which is identified as a consumer? I know that grass is a producer. I know that moss is a producer. They got energy from the sun. I know the mushroom, I even labeled it as a decomposer. The grasshopper is a consumer. My answer to number 1 is B. Yes, I expect you to interact with all of the questions just like that. It's going to help you. It's going to make things better for you. You will be a better student for it. Now, where are producers located on a food chain? Okay, so we did food chains in class. I remember that. I have the sun. That went to producers, to consumers, and then maybe even down to decomposers, and then all the way back around to again. Now, are they at the beginning because they create their own food? Okay, that seems to be a pretty good choice there. Are they in the center because every organism relies on producer? Does every organism rely on producers? I'm trying to think about that. I'm wondering if that's a good answer. Sounds like a good answer. We'll come back to that one. Are they at the end because they rely on other organisms for energy? Do producers need other organisms? No, they do not. We know that they need the sun. Their position changes depending on what they are eating. What they are eating. Do producers eat anything? No, they do not. We know that that's not the answer. So let's take a look at these other 2 answers. So now we have 2 that really seem like they could be good answers. But let's think about this. Now, are producers at the beginning? Yes. I mean, we have the sun, but the food chain really starts with the producers. Do they create their own food? That's our definition of producers. I really like A. Let's talk a little bit about B. Are they in the middle? Now, I know looking at this, yes, they are technically in the middle. However, most of the food chains that we looked at went producer, which was maybe grass, consumer, maybe a grasshopper, and then another's the consumer, tertiary consumer, and that would have been a lizard. Does every organism rely on producers for their food and energy? Does the lizard have to have the grass in order to have energy? Not in the sense that this is what the lizard's going to eat the grasshopper. It doesn't rely on the grass to get its energy. Now, yes, if you want to break that down into, if we didn't have grass, I understand that. This is actually the better answer for this one. They are at the beginning. They do create their own food. That seems to be the best answer for that one. A is the answer that you would want. Now, let's take a look at this. We have a food web, and I'm asking you, which organisms are the producers? Okay? In this, I see producers, consumers. I don't see any decomposers. Now, there's types of consumers. I see herbivores. I see carnivores. Do not see any omnivores that I can tell. No, I do. There we go. Omnivore. I see one. Omnivores. Okay. So let's talk about this. These are plants. Our consumers are our herbivores, our plant eaters. Our carnivores are our meat eaters. And our omnivores, they eat both. Let's label all these. We look up here at this guy, the owl. We know that he is a carnivore. The snake, carnivore. The fox, carnivore. The rabbit is an herbivore. The frog, probably an omnivore. The rat, an omnivore. The cricket, herbivore. The squirrel, herbivore. All of these that have something on it are consumers. They cannot be in the answer. I see two plants. I see something down here that looks like a bunch of leaves. And then I see something over here. Looks like maybe it has berries on it. So let's check out and see what our answer choices are. I have a frog and a rat. Okay, we labeled the frog omnivore. We labeled the rat omnivore. Those are both consumers. That is not the answer. I have a rat and leaves. The leaves, yes, I said was part of the producers. But the rat is not. It is an omnivore. Leaves and berries, yes, the answer to number 3 is C. All right. Next, we have a brown bear, and we talk about what it eats. It eats a variety of foods. It eats berries. Those are plants. It eats insects. That would be how much meat is on an insect. And small animals is most definitely meat. Which best describes a brown bear? Now, I know over here it eats meat. And plants. Okay. I have over here a producer. I know that the definition of producer is a plant. It makes its own food. Is that how you would describe a brown bear? No. Could you describe a brown bear as an omnivore? There it eats plants. Yes, it does eat plants. We said that here, but let's see if that's the best answer. Does it carnivore? Does it eat meat? Yes, we said over here it eats meat. What does omnivore mean? That means it eats plants and meat. So when I look at which best describes a brown bear, my answer is omnivore. Omnivore. All right, so number 5. This is the second or third time we've seen something talking about food chains. So we have producer. Let's call that any kind of plant. Grass maybe goes to the consumer, and it goes to the first level, which is your herbivores. So that is here, so we'll call that a grasshopper. Keep going to our second level, consumer. Grasshopper 2, we saw in class that that was a mouse. Sorry, I don't know what happened. My pen just went nuts on me there. So then the mouse, sorry, I got to go down this way, went to the third level, and we'll call that a snake. Okay, so which organism would be eaten last? Producer. Well, it is eaten first. Not the answer. Decomposer. I know the early bird gets the worm, but is there anything really out there eating bacteria? Not in a food chain. Yes, mushrooms might be eaten. Yes, earthworms might get eaten, but they're really not typically part of the food chain per se. And I wouldn't say that they're the last thing to get eaten. That doesn't make sense. So now I've got to say, is it either this one or this one that gets eaten last? Well, the last thing to get eaten is the mouse, which is your second level consumer. And your answer is D, second level consumer. All right. Which type of organism only eats plants? I have 4 terms over here. I have carnivore. They eat meat. I have herbivore, eats plants. I'm going to put eater on here. Plant eater. Producers are plants. And scavengers eat dead meat. All right. Which type of organism eats only plants? Please do not just look at this word and think that producer is the answer. We're talking about eating plants. That is not the answer. Scavengers eat dead meat. That is not plants. That is not the answer. Carnivores eat meat. That is not the answer. Your only choice for 6 is B. Which best? Now you know when it says best, there's probably 2 good answers. Describes how decomposers help support life in an ecosystem. Now, mentally, what do decomposers do? We've said it in class 1,000 times. They break down dead stuff into good soil and nutrients. Decomposers provide a habitat in the ecosystem. That sounds nothing like what I just said. Decomposers add producers to the ecosystem. Now that's a maybe. I know we said they make good soil, so that's a possible one. They provide energy for consumers. No, consumers get their energy from the sun. So that doesn't make sense. Decomposers add nutrients to the soil. Good soil and nutrients. Nutrients and soil. What is the best? The best answer? D is your best answer. If you miss this, after having the question here, you're in trouble. Which animals recycle food waste and turn it into nutrients for the soil? My goodness, there's an example sitting in the classroom. It is not a bird. It is not a fox. It is not a squirrel. It is a worm. And worm is the best answer for Therefore, number 8, C, is the best answer.